right, so today we are going to build a fully functioning web app with just 3 AI tools: V0, Cursor, and Replit. I am a person who has no coding experience at all. I'm basically someone who studied business, right? So no prior experience with coding whatsoever. And I'm also by no means an expert in these AI coding tools, right? I'm just trying it out. I'm learning on my own, and I would like to share what I'm learning, because if I can do it, you can certainly do it too, because this is just like the same method that I used basically to get my hands dirty with these tools. I was watching videos and then implementing what I learned and what I saw on my own. And my hope with this video would be for you to do the same, to get some inspiration, because I really believe these are exciting times that people like us can now build stuff, build real applications on the internet. And I would say, without further ado, we could just jump right straight into what we want to build today. And this is a teleprompter app, right? So a teleprompter normally used in television, right, for people to read stuff and look right into the camera. And you could use this as well sometimes if you have to record yourself and reading a text. However, with most teleprompter apps on the internet that I've found and used, I believe there's the issue that they are full of ads or are really difficult to handle. So this teleprompter app that we are going to build today shall be modern, minimalistic, and free of distractions. So its only purpose really is to display a text on the screen as readable as possible, right? That's what it's supposed to do, and that is what it's going to do in a great way. So this teleprompter apps, it starts with an input text box that prompts the user to type or copy and paste their script in that text box. A button centered below that box with Start the Teleprompter launches the teleprompter application, and then there are a couple of features. And like I said, it's minimalistic, right? We just use a play and pause button. We have a slider for the size of the text, a slider for the margin, a slider for the rolling speed, and an icon to either align the text to the center or to the left. Then we have a switch to choose the background color. With a black background, we have a white font. With a white background, we have a black font. So it's basically dark mode and light mode with this. And really important, and I think this is the USP of this teleprompter app, all these features shall be handled from a navigation bar at the bottom of the screen. So most teleprompter apps, or literally all that I've seen so far, they have the issue that this navigation bar with the features is on top of the screen. And this is really the most important, most valuable real estate that you have when it comes to a teleprompter app. Because most of us, right, we don't want to have this full teleprompter set up at home, right? This is why we are using these teleprompter web apps. And we are recording ourselves with either our built-in camera from our laptops or maybe a webcam that sits right on top of the screen, right? So what we want to have in like the top of our screen is the actual text, not the navigation bar, because it shall look like we are looking directly into the camera, right? So having the text as close to the camera as possible is actually a big advantage to make this app more useful. And if you have the navigation bar there, you're basically giving up the most important real estate, right? You want to have the text there, not the navigation bar. So this is what we are going to build: text on top and navigation bar at the bottom of the screen. This is really important. So this is what we are going to build. So to start off, I'm just going to copy this full text, and I go to V0. And V0 for me has the function basically to build me a prototype of how the front end would look like. So I'm just pasting this in here. And this is already pretty insane, right? That we can like just with one step basically build a prototype that already shows us how an app like this could look like. And this is how it looks like after all. So we have this screen here where it says type or paste your script in here. So what I have with my clipboard right now is actually this text, and we could use this as a first try. Let's see. All right, so this already looks quite good, I would say. We have a slider for the size here. I like that. That's good. We have margin, also very good. I like that. So you can either use the full screen of the text or really just the size of the screen right below your webcam or camera. I think that is very helpful. And then speed. Okay, for that we have to probably hit the, yeah, I like this. The button here is not really well visible, but that doesn't matter. It works, right? And if I trigger this, it gets slower and faster. All right, that's cool. This is a button for centering or aligning the text to the left. Also not really well visible, but it does a trick. And this is dark mode and night mode. All right, so this really works quite well already. So it's literally fully functioning already after like just one prompt. But now what we want to do is make this app our own, basically, right? So for that, we are going to open Replit. All right, so in Replit, what you're going to do is to hit this little plus icon here to start a new REPL, they call this. And what I like to do is start off with a template. So a template makes it really easy for you because it has some settings set up already that just save you time. For example, if you wanted to build an application that uses a database as well, to store stuff or have user authentication so people can create an account and stuff like this, you will need something else, right? You will need something like Google Firebase, for example, to create this. And to make your application communicate with Firebase, you need keys, right? You need to set this up with keys. And this is where these templates come in. They make it really easy for you because they have this built in already, right? You just have to paste in the key from Firebase into your application and you're good to go. And the template that I like to use is this one here by Riley and Anj. Shout out to Riley and Anj. I've been really enjoying your videos and learning with those. And yeah, we are just using this template. I will also make sure to link this in the description. And we call our application Teleprompter App, right? That's fine. Teleprompter App, it's a private application, and we're using this template even though for this application specifically, I would say we don't actually need authentication and storage, etc. Right? So we are actually having building a really simple app here that really doesn't need all of this because yeah, it shall be minimalistic, right? Seems like it didn't open it. Okay, so here it is, Teleprompter App. And what we are going to open now is first the web view. So this is really important. And also SSH. SSH connects Replit with other applications such as Cursor. And we are going to use Cursor to generate the code. And Replit's role is basically to show you a live web view of what you've built. And I think that's really, really valuable because you see changes live. And then also later on for deploying the app, this is really valuable because you don't have to basically make up your mind about like how to deploy this web app to the internet. Replit does this for you. So this is a task basically that Replit has. And we are now going to first start to link it up to Cursor. There are some tutorials that I saw where people do this manually with an SSH key. I think, and maybe this might be a new feature, this is not necessary anymore because right now you have this one-click SSH set up here directly from Replit to launch Cursor and configure the keys for you. So I don't think this manual setup is necessary anymore. It's sort of complicated. So if you're a beginner, you might want to use this automatic setup here. And this is what we are going to do today. So I would just click Launch Cursor, allow this to open. And here we go. So, are you want to continue? Yes, we want to continue. It's now setting up this SSH host here, downloading VS Code server. So it's doing a couple of setup steps. And now it looks like the two applications are connected, right? So what you can see here are the exact same folders and files that we have on Replit. So this seemed to work. And now we're going to go to Cursor, which is, in my opinion, the best code editor, right, that is currently out there, especially if you are a beginner, because it has these built-in AI features that make it really, really easy for you. And you hit Shift Command I, and that opens the composer, which is an insane feature. It literally writes the code for you. And what I like to do is I start with add codebase. So I'm directly addressing my codebase. And I have this prompt here that works really well. Cursor prompt. I'll also put that in the description. So what I do is add codebase, and then I start by giving it my app idea. So I'm copying this again, just paste this in, and then I say, here's a mock-up for the app that you should use as an example. You don't need to use the code exactly as is, because you need to hook this up to Firebase. This is something that I would delete right now, right? Because we didn't use Firebase, but if we wanted to use an application or wanted to build an application that uses Firebase, like with authentication, with storage, database, etc., this prompt really works well. Right now, we don't need this. So it goes on this prompt by saying, the template, which is the code base right now, is already set up to Google Firebase. So I want the user to be able to sign in to their own account and create their own tasks. And they should be saved to Google Firebase, and make sure to use the existing Google Firebase setup. This is also something that we don't need. And this last part, though, this is something we need. Here's some code to use as an example of what this app might look like. But again, I want you to make sure that it's fully functional given the starting point of this application. So I would modify this a little bit. Here's code to use an example of what this app might look like, but I want you to make sure that it's fully functional. That's it. All right, so I think that's a good starting point. This prompt, by the way, is also something that I saw in one of the videos from Riley. So shout out again, this really was helpful for me. And now what I would do is I would go to Vercel, V0. Is it Vercel or Vercel? I don't know, I've heard both pronunciations. And then I would go to... yeah, so this is tricky because we have more than one files actually. So I would probably use both. Yeah, I would tell Cursor, so components, and then it called it navigation bar TSX. Navigation bar TSX. Is it like this? Yep. And then I would just, sorry, I hit enter accidentally. So I'm going to reset my composer here. Just reset it. That happens. And then paste in this code. And then as well, we have the second file here, Teleprompter TSX. Teleprompter TSX. And then I'm also going to paste in this code. All right, so with that, I'm just hitting enter, and let's see what sort of changes Cursor will do. So we're having a slow request here right now. That's funny because I'm currently not subscribed to the Pro plan, even though I'm using this quite a lot. But I think that's also a great example. Like you don't even need the pro plan of Cursor to build stuff like this. So yeah, just full transparency here of how easy it is to get started. All right, I think so, talking about this, that this launch cursor SSH feature, this might be a paid feature on Replit, I think. But still, yeah, I'm paying Replit because it deploys the apps. So that's great. And by the way, now that cursor is working here, I've never done this full circle. Like I've never went from idea to deployment. I've always like got stuck in between with some problem and like have been iterating on that. So this is hopefully the first time that I go full circle. And obviously it's also the first time on video. So yeah, did some changes here, right? Interface, etc. So I would just say save all. And then we are going back to Replit. We run this application and we go to the web view. And if we're lucky, this is already like showing us something that we could work with, right? I will open this up full screen. It's loading the page and here we go. This already looks like something that we could work with, right? It's a teleprompter app. We could paste stuff in here just to try. We start the teleprompter and here we go. We have font size. We have a play button here. So the rolling feature works. We could toggle the font size. I like that. We have something here that I can't see right now because my recording application's on there. It's margin. All right. This is not working 100%. So it seems like the last 24% or something, they don't really have an effect, but okay, this is something to consider. Speed. Yeah, this is really slow, but like, why not, right? We could have slow speed. It's not bad to really, able to, control this quite a lot. Center and left alignment, this works as well. It's good. And then we have dark mode and light mode working already as well. So the only thing that I would like to change is margin. Let's see if we could do something here, right? Because it doesn't seem that this, well, it's doing something, but difficult to describe what's going on here. Well, let me pause this. Let's go back to cursor and let's say the margin function doesn't really work. The 0 to 20% don't really make a change. Let's say let's see if it can do something. And then I think we could design the first page a little as well. I think that wasn't really pretty. I would want this to be more minimalistic. Let's see what it comes up with. And actually, I didn't really, this wasn't a good call from me right now. I should have addressed the code base, actually. I think that's more effective, add code base, because then the cursor is actually like deciding what to add from the entire code base. And now I think I'm only chatting with components and navigation bar and teleprompter TSX. Yeah, it says navigation bar right here, but I'm in teleprompter TSX, and it changed in teleprompter TSX. So I think it's still like decided what to change. Let's see if it worked. So save all. But yeah, as a general note, if you address add code base, it decides what to add. So you don't have to tell it. You don't have to tell it page, navigation bar, teleprompter, etc. So, all right, let's see what this did. Going back to Replit. All right, so now let's refresh this and see if that made any changes. So now we have 20% here. Yeah, I think it does the trick, right? It does what we, not really, not really. So yeah. Okay, let's have a more exact prompt. So Add code base. The margin function still does not work properly. What I want it to do is that at 40%, the teleprompter is using the full width of the screen. At 0%, it's just using, let's say, the central part of the screen that makes up, what is it, 20% of it, right? So just like the 20% centered part of the screen. Please fix that to reflect the effect that I want it to have. All right, and now I address the code base, so it's actually deciding on its own what it's going to do, what's going to change. So now it changed teleprompter TSX and navigation bar TSX. So I think that's good, right? So we save this again. We go into Replit, and we are going to refresh again. Paste some script in here. Okay, now it's 60%. Okay, this is way better. I still don't like why is it saying 20%? Okay, because I said the center 20%. I think it's actually good, right? 80% at 100%, it's using the full width. I think I'm happy with that, right? So you could speed it up, and I think no one is reading this fast, but still I think we could do a little more here, at 100% speed could be a little faster. But all these other functions here, I think they're already pretty solid. Okay, that worked. Add code base. That worked. Thanks. Being nice to the AI. Regarding the speed toggle, I think that at 100 speed, the text could roll a little faster. Let's see if it can do this as well. I'm optimistic. Okay. Slow request, but it's still working. It's still doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, so it's adjusting the speed here at teleprompter TSX. We are going to save this. We are going back to our Replit application. I will refresh the page again. Okay, pasting this in here, and then let's see. Okay, now it's visibly fast already at 50. Very slow at the 20 and below that. I like that. And at 100, it's already super fast. So if you have something, just one word per line, this would work pretty well. I would be happy with that. And I also like how it's respecting the line breaks of the text that I pasted in here. So that's fantastic. I would actually use this. That's great. Build something that you would use yourself. That's the goal. Okay, so we could go back. What I also wanted to see is this first page that sorry, I will open this up again in full screen, refresh. And this first screen here, what do you think? Could this look a little better? I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do. But yeah, I would like to be at code base. Make the first page more minimalistic and modern. Call the app Teleprompter for minimalists. Okay. Is that all? I think a black button would be more minimalistic, right? The button should be black instead of blue. Let's go full minimalist mode here. All right, so it's doing that. And if that is already like, if that works out now, if it's doing this in a more minimalistic style that I'm happy with, then I would say we are already good to go. We could look towards deploying this app, right? Okay, so it already did this clean, simple. I like that. That's cool. It's a nice font as well. It did a minimalistic font, and even though this is not black, it's gray. it's still very minimalistic. I like it. Let's leave it here. I think that's good. And now we're looking towards deploying the app. So I think for deploying, we have to go. Yeah, I think it's just called deployments. Yes. And like I said before, I've never done this. So yeah, we're using this recommended option here, set up for deployment. Okay, it's telling me machine configuration. Okay, I don't really know what this is, to be honest. This seems expensive. Machine configuration, okay. Can we start with something else? Meet demand exactly. So maybe this is like a more reserved VMs are for long. Oh, okay. Autoscale is the best choice for most projects. That sounds more like something that we would need. Static, you only pay for outbound data transfer for cPanel allow you to quickly move on your production site, suitable for HTML static content. Yeah, I mean, it's not static, right? Scheduled. Let's go autoscale. I think autoscale is the way to go. I think we can go with that for now. Does it say any like cost estimations? Not yet. We're going to deploy. Let's see if it works. Okay, I already see here with settings, this is where we could use a custom domain, right? Okay, so we have provision, build, bundle, promote. This is going to be set up in just a few minutes. Okay, so while this is setting up, like I said, in settings, we can now use a custom domain. So this is what I'm going to do in the meantime. I'm going to namecheap.com and I'm purchasing a nice domain for this project. So I think, right, since this is like a minimalist teleprompter, maybe minimalistic teleprompter, is that available.com? It actually is. Okay, that's a good domain already to like words from the dictionary. But it's a little long, right? Like if you just imagine having this on Twitter or whatever as a link, it looks a little long. What about miniteleprompter.com? Yeah, that's good. I think I will go for miniteleprompter.com, right? I mean, teleprompter, everyone knows what it is. And mini, it's like, it does the job, right? It's not a huge application. It does the job. Let's go. Let's buy this. All right, so the app seems to be deployed successfully. Yeah, deployed 4 minutes ago, autoscale. And now we can go towards settings and link a domain. Is it link a domain? Yeah, I think so. Yes, so we bought miniteleprompter.com. We hit next. And now we have to set up these DNS records here. So for that, I'm going to use advanced. I have this up here in a split screen. So this is the app that I bought. Sorry, the domain that I bought, miniteleprompter.com. And I'm going to, it looks a little funny here. Okay. So I'm going to delete these 2 records. And I'm adding a new record here. This is an A record with these numbers. So the host is, I think it's right, that you have to put in here. Just like this. And then we have another record. This is a txt record, host add, and then save this as well. Now we have to wait for up to an hour, and this should actually be all. Now we can link the domain. It's verifying, and in an hour or so, we should be good to go. And we should be able to see our app on miniteleprompter.com. Isn't that nice? Without coding at all, basically. All built by AI. Okay, so if I go now to miniteleprompter.com, you see that there's still nothing here. So let's check back in an hour or so, and I will give you an update. All right, so just a quick update. The app is now successfully deployed to the internet and also connected to the custom domain that I bought. It just took a couple of minutes actually. And if you want to use it, you can go to miniteleprompter.com just to showcase you real quick how it works. You just type in your text, right? I have the sample text right here. Click start, and then you're good to go. All right, have fun with it. Just go to miniteleprompter.com and you can use it. And I'm also looking forward to see what you're going to build. Thanks, take care.